What's going on, guys? It's Kirk, and I'm here again with Sam, and we are here for the second edition.
My thumbs up.
What's going on, guys? It's Kirk, and I'm here again with Sam, and we're here for our second edition of Player Features.
Yes.
How you feeling about this one, bro?
It's a big one, big player.
I don't know about you guys, but especially even with the last one that we did, this is another big one that I personally can't wait to really talk about this guy and delve into his career so far. I'm going to reveal it to you now. The player that we're actually going to be talking about today is none other than the Egyptian king himself, Mohamed Salah.
Mo Salah, Mo Salah, Mo Salah. You know what? I don't like this guy because he's too good. He's too good. And it annoys me. We don't want to reveal what team we support yet. But the guy is too good, and I want him playing for my team. I don't know about you.
No, I fully agree with you on that, but I kind of want to go back. Let's take it right back to maybe the first time, because I don't know about you, but I definitely saw Salah from the time where he was actually playing at Basel.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, there's certain players that you see, even when they're playing for teams that aren't really as big and stuff like Champions League and even, I don't know, whatever league that you want to talk about all over the world. But then there's certain players that you see that you kind of see that, oh, like, this guy's a gem. This guy's a gem.
100%.
This guy's a gem. Like, as soon as I think I remember, we were talking about this earlier actually. We were talking about how we saw Salah play that game against Chelsea in Basel, when he was playing for Basel at the time. And also I remember a particular game as well against Tottenham where he just absolutely shined at the time. And that's the time that I personally said, I'm not even going to say that I called his stardom or anything, but I definitely said after seeing him on that pitch, in those two matches, I said this guy's going to be something great.
Fam, the guy's been doing so well, but then he obviously comes to Chelsea.
Yeah, it didn't go well. It didn't go well.
Usually, it's so weird. Usually when a player does so well against a team, and then they now go to the team that they scored against, things just don't really go too well. I mean, you look at Fernando Torres from Liverpool to Chelsea as well.
Yeah.
The comparison's pretty much the same. Do you know what I mean?
But with Salah, even coming down from Basel after he went to Chelsea, there was, I'm not too sure if anyone was actually monitoring him at the time, and I think that was actually probably good for him.
Yeah.
I definitely think it was good for him. I don't think anyone actually expected him to come into Chelsea and be like a complete game changer, because at the time, no one really knew the name Mohamed Salah just yet. So I think even though he went to Chelsea and it didn't work out, I don't think it put that much of a strain on his career in a sense. I think it actually just allowed him to just sort of like recollect himself and sort of like work through it, and maybe even work on his game as well, because at the time it just really wasn't working. And then obviously we see him move now from Chelsea to Roma, and that's actually where we actually start to see Salah actually start to progress and become the player.
Yeah, I definitely understand that, because I feel like sometimes in a player's career they need that moment where they're not playing well. It's kind of they kind of need reality to hit them.
Yeah.
And be like, do you know what? I actually need to work hard. I'm probably not as good as I thought I was. Let me get back on the training pitch and actually work on my technique, work on my skill, and maybe move elsewhere, like he did, move to Roma, and he got completely better.
Yeah.
And I think that's when the world, I think, because people noticed him from Basel. Moved to Chelsea, not really, people weren't really like, everyone knew his name because obviously what he's done at Basel, but then everyone was kind of starting to forget about him because he was just not doing anything at Chelsea.
Yeah.
He now moves to Roma, everyone starts hearing his name again. He's doing well for Roma in the league, in the Champions League, and now he's back in the Prem and he's amazing.
Yeah, I think even touching on your point with him actually moving to Roma as well, I think again, another thing that helped him is, yes, Roma are a top team in Italy, but again, at the time that he actually moved there, for me, I don't know if I actually considered Roma as one of the top dogs. Not
Definitely
at the time.
not.
And I think for a lot of players coming into teams like that, I think being under the radar really helps. I definitely think being put in a spotlight does have a strain in your career, and it's not everyone that can actually progress and actually do amazing things while under the spotlight.
There was definitely something in his career or along the path of him, like from Roma coming to Liverpool, back to the Premier League and playing for Liverpool, that really helped him change his game, because he's a completely different player, man.
Yeah.
Completely different. I mean, he was definitely good at Basel, but this is next level.
I want you guys to actually put it in the comments below. When was the first time that you actually noticed Mo Salah?
Yeah.
Was it when he actually really started out his career, or at the time did you actually think that he was going to become as good as he is now, or maybe did you sort of like notice him when he sort of like came out to the world? Because I think a lot of people, as we said, do not really know the grassroots stuff that this guy actually did going from here, like to travel from Switzerland to England to go to Italy now. Like it's so much.
Like your mind is telling you like, where am I gonna settle? Am I gonna be good at this club? Am I gonna be good at this club? And I love players like that, players that don't give up.
I'm gonna throw a stat to you right now, and I just want to know what you think about this. I was actually scrolling through Insta when I saw this earlier today. And it said Premier League goals for Liverpool at the moment. You've got Mo Salah on 42. Felipe Coutinho.
This is overall.
Yeah, overall. Liverpool. So in like their career from like while they've been at Liverpool till now.
Okay, cool.
So these are three players, three influential players, if you will, for Liverpool. Yeah. You've got Mo Salah, Coutinho, and Roberto Firmino. I think we'll both agree that all those three players are
definitely
for Liverpool.
Yeah.
So we've got from their career, like for how long they've played for Liverpool till now. You've got Mo Salah, who's got 42 goals. Felipe Coutinho obviously is not with Liverpool anymore, but throughout his career he got 41.
Wow.
And Roberto Firmino on 40. And Mo Salah has actually only been in the Premier League for a season and a half.
That's insane. Do you know what? I'm gonna kind of remove Coutinho from that equation, only because of the position he plays. He scores goals, but he's not in that striker's role.
Yeah.
Do you get me? When we look at Firmino and Salah now, both playing in that striker's role, but it's what do you say? What do you actually say?
Alright, let's compare him to someone for a second. Let's look at Luis Suarez and Mo Salah. Who do you think has had more of an influence?
Oh my gosh. Do you know what? It's so hard because they've come in and done the same thing. I mean, when Suarez was there, he had that wonderful season. Liverpool almost won the league. Do you get me? And Salah almost did that for Liverpool as well. If it wasn't for overpowered City, Liverpool would have taken it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, do you know what? I'm probably gonna give it to Suarez.
Do you reckon?
Because I don't know, there's just something personally that I saw in Suarez that I thought was insane. But would you say that Salah's done it for more years? Because people say that Suarez only had one good season. I disagree.
I personally disagree too. Do you get me? I don't think you only.
But I think after this year, that's when I can really say who's better.
That's definitely another one for you guys. Another question. Yeah. Put in the comments below, Salah or Luis Suarez, who is more influential for Liverpool?
Alright, so let's talk about his performance in the Premier League. I'm not sure if you've seen the stats. Obviously, 16 games, 10 goals.
Yeah.
Joint top with Gabon and Arsenal's Aubameyang. Africans are on top. Do you understand? That's how we do it.
It's actually true. Oh yeah, Africans
literally. Yeah. But brilliant. I mean, obviously scoring a hat-trick in his last game over the weekend, that definitely boosted him up. I mean, if without that hat-trick, his stats wouldn't have looked too great.
Yeah,
compared to last season.
If I'm honest with you, I think a lot of people actually had that problem looking at Salah, because there was a question of, even after he scored that hat-trick in the last game, it was a question of like, is he having a good season? Is it looking okay? Like everyone was saying that he's not the Salah of last season, he's a one season wonder, but I definitely think that even with the stats that he's shown so far, for me, even let's take the hat-trick away. Yeah. He's got 10 goals. You take the hat-trick away, it's 7. It's not that bad.
7 goals but I mean, I feel like it's definitely not that bad. But I feel like when a player's done a certain thing, for example, if Harry Kane scores 7 goals in 16 games, you're going to look at him and be like, do you know what? Bro, you need to be doing better. Because we know what he's capable of.
Yeah, it's true.
Mo Salah's capable of doing better. Alright, let's move on to like his international career.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that as well. Because I kind of want to talk about his World Cup run a little bit. Just touch on it a little bit.
It was disappointing. Do you know what? I wouldn't even say it was disappointing. It was heartbreaking to see. Because obviously, if you guys followed Mo Salah's career last season, you'd know he reached a Champions League final, got injured. I'm not even going to get into all that controversial injury, but you know, obviously then lost the final, went to the World Cup. Everyone was just like hoping he'd get back and get fit for the World Cup. Gets to the World Cup and then things just didn't really go well for him. And it's just like, I mean, footballers have those moments where it's just like, do you know what, things are just not going well, you're just going to have to deal with it. You just have to keep your head up and just continue playing your football. But I really, really thought that we was going to kind of see that whole, like Cristiano Ronaldo in Portugal role with Mo Salah in Egypt.
I personally, I definitely agree with you on that one. And I think one thing that I actually want to say about Mo Salah's World Cup run with Egypt actually is because it's solely down to, let's look at Egypt going into the World Cup and how they even got there with that penalty that sent the whole nation crazy. Everyone, it was an amazing moment for football in general, not just Egypt, but for football in general, to have that kind of penalty last minute, and it's just you can't write it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, to go into that Champions League final and also get the injury with Mo Salah, I think when the Egyptian football team look at that, because Mo Salah, as we said with Liverpool, for Egypt as well, that's why they call him the Egyptian king. He hasn't got the title for no reason.
Actually, the king of Egypt.
I think you look at it and you sort of get yourself to a point where you're just like, if I was within that Egypt team, I would be looking like extremely dejected and kind of like deflated, because I'm thinking, this is a massive figure in our team, and he's not here. And I think it had a massive part to play with how Egypt even performed at the World Cup, because we've seen Egypt at African Cup of Nations. They're one of the best teams in Africa.
They've dominated
110%. I remember years back a game, Ghana versus Egypt, where it was in the AFCON final, and they're just brilliant. I remember they had a player called Ghetto who absolutely killed it that tournament.
They just annoy me. It just got to the point when I was just thinking, you know what, Egypt's gonna win anyway.
They've got some great names, El Neni, El Mohamedi, just so many names within that Egyptian side that can actually do something. And just to look at a player like Salah not being in the side, especially for that campaign, I think from the get-go, Egypt were probably, I definitely think they were deflated. And it just didn't, their performance on the pitch definitely showed. Even when Salah came on, it's like he was trying to get the players to just sort of like ginger them and to try and get a result, but it just seemed like he wasn't there from the beginning, so it just seemed like they were just kind of going through the motions a little bit, and I just think it just didn't work for them, really.
But I think maybe it was just a bit, like, for me, maybe I'm being a bit too harsh on him. I was expecting a lot from him, but obviously coming off that injury, it's pretty hard to get back into the game and then carry your country as well, because as soon as you walk into that dressing room, if you're a figure like Mo Salah, everyone's looking at you. You're playing in the Premier League, you're playing for one of the best teams in the Premier League. Everyone's going to look up to you and be like, do you know what? If we're going to get to a stage where our fans are going to be surprised, like, wow, we got to this stage of the World Cup, it's definitely going to be someone like Mo Salah that would have taken Egypt there.
So special abilities, like when we actually look at Mo Salah, what do you actually think? What stands out to you? What are his key traits?
Obviously, we can't deny his finishing. Everybody's going to talk about finishing. He scores goals. He's class in front of goal. So that one there we don't even need to talk about.
Killer instinct.
For me, I'm not sure. I don't know what stands out from him.
He's just good.
Just good. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I'll jump in and I'll talk about his, I think one thing that he's brilliant at is his reactions. I think Mo Salah's reactions are just, for me, when I look at him, I think we were even saying this earlier on. For me, I don't even think he's fast. Don't get me wrong. Mo Salah is quick. He's got pace. But as compared to others that I've seen in terms of sprinting, let's say someone like even his teammate Sadio Mane, I don't think he's faster than Mane. But he's definitely got pace. But for me, I think the difference between the two is with Salah, reactions, because I think he has caught out so many of the defenders that he's caught out because of his reactions. He seems to read the situation as if, let's say Firmino has the ball now and he's about to make the pass. Salah, it's not even like he'll make the run straight away, but Firmino will make the pass, and just the sheer quickness in which he moves his body to react to the pass that Firmino's made is what makes him kind of like beat defenders.
Even bouncing off that, his attacking positioning, I'm just remembering, is insane. Like, even the first goal that he scored on the weekend, if you guys saw the hat-trick, if he wasn't in that position, he wouldn't have been able to get that wrebound. Do you know what I mean?
Right, so where do you actually think, this is going to be a very difficult one, but where do you actually think he can improve?
Does Mo Salah even need to improve? Do you know what I mean?
No, I definitely got one, but you go ahead.
I think obviously everybody's looking at him and they're like, okay, they want more goals. They want more goals from last season.
There you go. That's it.
Boy, I genuinely don't know. What do you think?
I definitely say taking his chances. Especially this season. Last season he took them, but especially this season. I think the reason why it didn't really work at the very beginning of the season was because he just wasn't taking his chances a lot. And I think now, obviously, we're starting to see it more. Obviously, with what we talked about even from last weekend, we're starting to see a lot more that he is starting to take his chances.